And we had 92% attendance, which is phenomenal for a day like today, but our kids love to be with each other and had a great time today, and it went really, really well. So we're pleased tonight to take you through the nuts and bolts of pathway selection, the mysteries of that. And Mr. Vincent, Willie Vincent, our assistant principal, is going to give you all the detail. He'll answer questions at the end, but it's a very important process, and if you follow it the way he lays it out, it'll go really, really well. So our other students, current 9th through 11th, are in the process of picking classes as well, picking all their classes. So your students will begin that pathway selection process tomorrow. They can start that tomorrow, and I hope you'll get that done. You'll hear this a lot, but pathway selection is not registration. Okay, two very different things. Ms. Blecky will take you through that, but I want you to know that just because you fill out the pathway does not mean you're registered for Midtown High School. So you'll hear a lot more about that. But I was going to introduce Mr. Vincent, but Ms. Blecky, I'll bring her up. Again, Tina's our 9th grade counselor, deals with all 450 that are coming in. So, whoop whoop!
So welcome again. So glad you're here. As you know, we did miss our visit for your students to come over to Midtown, and we are very sorry. I was so upset about that, but we are going to try to reschedule. We're looking at either, it's not confirmed for the 6th, but we're looking at either the 5th or the 6th. I tried to get that kind of defined today, but I didn't hear back from one school. So just know as soon as we get that information, we're going to arrange those buses and they're going to be over here, promise. We are not going to forego them coming over here. We know the importance of them being able to do that, and our students love doing it with them. So it is a great event that we won't sacrifice.
Sorry, the 5th or 6th of February?
Yes. Yes, we're going to do it sooner than later. We want to go ahead and get it in since you're doing the pathways. We want to try to stick with our timeline. And then I want to also put up here, we did come out with the registration dates. So if you are currently in an APS school, you will, your enrollment registration, which is what Dr. Botman was referring to, will be March the 3rd through the 31st, okay? And you're going to be getting information from your middle school. So whatever middle school you're at in APS, you're going to get that information. If they vet it, they send it to you. And then you're going to follow the protocols. And as we get more information, as we get closer to March, we will also be posting that information on our all-in-one page, the Rising Knights page, okay? If you are coming from outside APS, your registration is going to be June the 2nd through June 13th. And again, the reason that is because we have to see that you were promoted to the 9th grade, that you completed the 8th grade, and a final transcript for class placement. Okay, Dr. Botman is here. I'm just going to quickly review these before the man of the hour comes up. There he is, but he will be up here shortly. Just a couple of names I want to make sure you guys are familiar with. Ms. Head and Mr. Wallace, they are our student support specialists. They take care of 504s and student support team. They are a great resource. So if your student currently has a 504 at middle school, these are your individuals that you will be working with. And I am recording this, so it will be up on the website probably by the first of the week. If I can get it done tomorrow, I will. And then Ms. Chittister Johnson, she's our special ed lead teacher. So if your student has an IEP, this again is your main contact person. Ms. Susanna Roberts is our graduation coach, and you're thinking 9th grade, why do I need a grad coach? Well, you do. She helps tremendously with some of our freshmen who kind of get behind the 8 ball their first semester of their freshman year. Her and I work really closely together to help push those to the other side. So That's a great resource as well. And then Miss Case, I mentioned registration. Miss Case is down here sitting in the front. She is our registrar. So this is the individual you will be working through when you do your registration. If you have any specific questions about registration, she is going to be out at a table right outside the auditorium if you have anything specific. But again, everything is, it's coming down the pipe. We're just always ahead of the curve, and sometimes that's an unfortunate thing, and we're always pushing to get these dates out to you guys. I don't know that most schools know those dates yet, but we wanted to go ahead and get it for you guys so that you all would have it. Me. And then Miss Scott is our school social worker for ninth graders. She doesn't, we have 2 school social workers, but Miss Scott does 9th grade and 11th grade. So that would be the contact for your school social worker. Okay, so.
Could you go back once? I was writing down my notes.
Yep, I can. There you go.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Okay, this is we're all just relaxed and laid back after all those days stuck in the house, right? So next up, I am going to bring up the man of the hour. And Mr. Vincent is going to walk us through the pages that are so important for you, as well as the pathway selection, and kind of define that a little bit more. Again, I want to remind you, as Dr. Botman said, doing the pathways is one thing. You have to register, guys. So please register, register, register. Like I said, we'll have more information coming. Mr. Vincent.
I'm so concerned that everyone looked right at me when she called my name. Y'all are not supposed to know what I look like, right? Yeah. Look at me good. Look at me well. I must be really exhausted from all those snow days. Look at me well. All right. Tina Pilecki is the only one who didn't want it to snow. The rest of the staff and students were singing, "Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow." So we're just so glad to see you here tonight. Take a good look. This is the last time you'll see me until your child graduates from high school, okay? Accept that? All right, yes. Get ready. Your email is so important. The first thing I want to say to parents, go ahead now and make sure your child is engaging in the use of email. And I don't mean the Atlanta Public Schools email address. Most of them do not know how to use that email address. There are instructions on the website for those who are determined to use it. But now everything is done here at Midtown. A lot is done electronically. I know a lot of times you want the phone call. Don't call me. I'm not calling you back, most likely. Don't ask for a meeting with me. I'm not going to meet with you. I think that sounds cruel. Why? Because to get the optimal bang for scheduling at Midtown, it has to be a digital process. I always tell people, if I have to meet with every child and parent in the school to talk about a schedule, I will have retired before I'm halfway done. So get ready to watch your emails from this night forward, because it's so critical that your child has a Gmail or Hotmail or something, and that you have it as well, that we have all your email information. All right, let's just sort of talk. I think I'm smart enough to find my way here. Okay, now let's see, how do you get to this? All right, you go to the Midtown High School website, and parents and students is where you want to go. And when you get on parents and students, you'll see Rising Ninth Graders. Click that, and that will take you to what we call the Midtown High School All-in-One, the Rising Ninth Grade website. This is where you can click information related to registration. You'll get all kinds of information over here related to registration. Is this last year's stuff? It is.
It'll be updated.
They're going to update it, so it's coming. And also there's an opportunity to watch this last presentation. This was great. Is this the one that I was here for, where you had the children talking about their school experiences? So if you just want to kind of get an overview of Midtown and what students think about Midtown, watch that YouTube clip. All right, here's where the fun begins. All right, your homework assignment is to get with your child between now and tomorrow night and read this, Understanding Your High School Schedule. This is probably the most important thing on there, because what I do is I've created something that I hope helps you, and I call it, How Do You Make the Perfect High School Schedule? So I give you every scenario pretty much that can happen in school. No, well, a lot of scenarios that explain what credits are, that will help you see what an A-B schedule will look like, so that you can understand how you get the classes you really, really want. I talk about the fact that how long each semester lasts. So when you look at this example, I mentioned the fact that 9th grade lit from August to December is a half credit. The second half comes second semester. So you get a real breakdown of how this scheduling works. Everything that you see related to scheduling here, I'm going to say you want to pick your preferred 8 credits. Go ahead and learn this process now, because this is what your child is going to do for the next 4 years. We're in the process of scheduling right now, where they get this long, convoluted email from me where I'm counting all the credits, counting all the classes they're requesting, and then I will say to them at the bottom of the email, you have requested 12 out of 8 classes, which means you've got to figure out which 4 you want to drop. If you don't decide which 4 you want to drop, I will decide which 4. Most of our children know how to pick the perfect 8 classes because they've gone through this indoctrination. Now, all the people who ask me questions in emails, I can tell they have not read. Oh, would you just read it? And what this is going to do, this is going to get you used to Mr. Vincent's convoluted emails. Look at, I mean, what? Yes, it's a lot to read. And I know we're living in a culture now where people just want to go right for it. But you want information. Everything that any parent has ever asked me in my year, how long have I been here, 14 years, about scheduling, I have answered it somewhere in all of my crazy Google forms. Have any of you been through all this madness before with your older children? It's madness, isn't it? But it answers all your questions, right? So make sure you read. And it's a process, again, that will help you determine when we talk about pathways. I'll give you an example. Okay, let's even talk about if I decide I want my child to take AP Human Geography with civics, this is what my schedule will look like. Versus without civics, this is my schedule will look like. So look at that. I'll also give you examples of, okay, if I have one pathway, what will my schedule look like? Versus 2 pathways, how do I build a perfect schedule with 2 pathways? So if you just read this with your child, it's going to unlock so much, and you will be able to go into that system tomorrow night and get exactly, hopefully, what you want 99% of the time, because remember, nothing is scheduled, guaranteed with scheduling. But read that information. It will help save your sanity and mine, because you won't ask me questions about things that I've already explained. Okay, here we go. This next one, pathway descriptions. Make sure you take a moment to peruse this. What we've done here, again, we've taken all our pathways. You click on the little drop down, and it just gives you an explanation. Back during the good old days of COVID, I think we put some videos in a few of these. Let's just see. Yeah, for example, if you click here, you'll get to watch a video related to audio video text. So some of them have videos where teachers and people in charge of the program wanted videos, some do not. All right, here's our newest one. This used to be digital technology, back in the old days, intro to software. Now we're incorporating a cybersecurity pathway. So I put some extra information in here to sort of pique your interest about cybersecurity. So definitely look out for that, because I understand that's big bucks, and I'm looking at a career in that myself. How about that? All right, so everything's here, guitar, journalism. Take a moment, look through all of that, and it'll give you an explanation of all the pathways. All right, this next one. Notice, tell your neighbor, say sample. Y'all asleep. Yes, okay. This is the sample form. You can actually fill this out, and it's identical to the one that I'm going to put up tomorrow night. I will take this one down tomorrow before the first basketball game, which is about 4:30, 5:30. I'll take it down, and then I will be in the middle of the basketball game, and I will stop at 5 minutes until 8 when my alarm goes off, and I'll sit there until 7:59, in 59 seconds, and then I'll activate the new link. What time did I use to activate this link? Who remembers? 11:59. I used to do it at midnight just because I was evil. It was so much fun to just sit at home at midnight and watch all of you log in desperately at 12:01 filling out. It's sinister, I know, but I'm used to this and get over it. Okay, yeah, it was fun. I would call, I would say, Bachman, 250 people did it by 2 a.m. Crazy. Okay, but you all fussed enough that I'm now activating it at 8 o'clock tomorrow night between basketball games. All right, so here's where we'll be. Go ahead and fill out the practice one. Now, one thing I did not include in this, I sort of wrestled with it, but I want you to just think about it. And if you're interested in this, contact Ms. Palekia. A lot of you have children on accelerated pathways. Some of you have children who are taking AP Calculus probably right now, don't you? Yeah. Early graduation is something you really may want to think about if your child is on this fast academic trajectory. Why? Because by the time the child gets to 10th, 11th grade, the child has pretty much procured all the high school credits. Why hang around for a 12th grade year for me to give you 3 PE classes, and then 3 more PE classes, then 2 more PE classes to fill out a schedule? So if you're really interested in sort of fast tracking it and graduating after 11th grade, be sure to contact Ms. Palekia and start that dialogue right now. Deal? All right. AP Human Geography, that's the AP course. Just decide we put something in there, description, prereqs, and at the bottom you'll see a video where one of the instructors actually gives an overview. So if you want to look at that to sort of make up your mind about AP Human Geography, definitely do that. All right, let's see. I must be really struggling from these last few days in the snow here. All right. Information about Parent Portal, and most of you, if you're at Howard, are you using Schoology at Howard?
Yes.
So you're familiar with all that great stuff. Definitely make sure you go ahead now, if you're not getting the nightly news, sign up for that. You can find out about everything that's going on here at Midtown by subscribing to the nightly news. Also take a moment to think about how your student can get involved. You already know that children who are involved get a meaningful bang for the buck out of high school, and they get to stay out of my office because they're doing something productive. So definitely look at sports, clubs, and activities. And the last thing that I want to mention from this website, I think, well, not really the last thing. A lot of you have dummy social security numbers that you use in elementary and middle school because you just do not want to put your child's social security number in the system, and we definitely understand this. But by the time they get to high school, remember, we have to have their social security number because it matters a whole lot for Georgia futures. You know, those things related to scholarships. If your child expects to get Hope scholarships or the Zell Miller scholarship, we've got to have the real social security number. Otherwise, you know, we run into some real quagmires. So make sure, is that something they can do with their registrar right now at the middle school, Ms. Case? Yeah. Yes, see your middle school counselor, registrar before the end of the year, and make sure you update the dummy social security number to the real one. All right, what else is on this website? Pages at the top. Some frequently asked questions. The number one is probably, how do students access honors courses? You want to make sure you look at this. This is a big deal from now and forevermore. So when your children are choosing pathways tomorrow night, it has nothing to do with their core classes. Everything with core classes is driven by grades and test scores. So just the general rule is 85 or higher, and how would you get into honors 9th grade lit? You have to have an 85 or higher in 7th and 8th grade in ELA for middle school. We tally those scores and that determines who goes into honors. So it's all about numbers in high school, so make sure you peruse the website. It answers questions like, are pathways required? Well, legally they're not. They're preferred, not required. So, you know, there are some children who just say, I just don't want the traditional pathways. I don't want band, I don't want engineering. Most students will get a pathway for 3 years of the same world language at That's considered a world language pathway. Some students will get it through advanced courses, which means that I've taken 3 AP or dual enrollment, social studies, ELA, or math courses. So there are a number of ways to get pathways without necessarily going through this process. But let me tell you, the catch is, if you don't choose any pathways for 9th grade, chances are you're going to wind up with some really strange electives and 2 or 3 PE classes. So definitely really look at those. Look at the pathways. And I think that may be about it. Is this a great time? Anyone have any pressing questions? So again, fill out the sample form. Read that thing that will tell you how to understand a high school schedule. Those are really, really critical. Look at the pathway descriptions. And I promise you tomorrow night between games, I will activate that form. Are there any questions like right now? Yes, ma'am.
Maybe that beautiful form that I will.
Come on, yes.
So with the pathways, I know it opens tomorrow night. Are you more likely to get what you want if you register earlier, or is it anywhere in that window and then it happens from there?
That's a great question. Usually things just sort of work out. If there's ever a situation, and it would be rare, where we had to say, well, we run out of seats, and I have to look at the time stamps to see who actually did it first, we have to do that. So I tell people, make your informed decision, and it usually works out. How many times have I had to really look at time stamps in all my years here? Never. But just in case, it's an option. You just never know. It's an option. So, and again, let's talk about what's in the pathway form. Again, it gets you used to Mr. Vincent's convoluted nature, where I write and talk way too much. Okay, so here we are. I explained again what we talked about for honors classes. All of that's in the pathway form. Before you ever get to put in your child's name, I'm drilling you with how you honors classes, and this is not about core classes. Let's see, I should have put the dummy form up here. I just wasn't smart enough to do it. And so you put in the basic stuff on this page. Then I ask for your current middle school. That's easy. And I stopped calling it Samuel Howard. I just put in Howard because nobody was looking for the Samuel. How about it? So there it is. Put in Howard. It is Samuel, right? It was Samuel Inman. Y'all can tell I'm tired. See, I am not doing well post snow days. I'm just really not. Jesus. All right. So again, right here, you're going to see all kinds of links. This is just another link just to a listing of the pathways in case you need it. There's also a description of the pathways in the form as well. So you go on, click all these next. I even put another version of the how to build a perfect schedule in the form, listing of the pathways. Even a description of all the pathways are inside the form. So if you forget, you don't have to keep going back and forth. They're actually in the form for you. And again, you'll go through all of this tonight, so I'm not going to do everything. I even talk about some of the electives. And here's where I talked about that declaration. I do want to choose one or more pathways. This is for the child who says, I do not want to, I only want to do world language and or advanced courses. Remember, this one guarantees you a pretty decent schedule. This one will get you some really strange stuff. Just thought I would mention that. So, now, again, when you check that form that says how to build a perfect schedule, you're going to know what it means to make 1 choice, 2 choice, 3 choices, because I give you a scenario of what it looks like if you choose 1 pathway, 2 pathways, 3 pathways. So go through the form and just answer the questions. There'll be a part of the form that talks about AP Human Geography. One part of the form will ask, are you taking Algebra 1 right now? If you're taking Algebra 1, it's going to ask you if you're interested in taking the double math, as we call it. That means you'll come to Midtown next year and take Geometry and Algebra 2. That's in the form. A listing of clubs and activities and all the sports is also in the form. and just a whole lot of other stuff. So make sure you look at that tonight. Any other questions? Yes?
So when you think of pathway, say cybersecurity or whatever, do you still get to choose some non-related electives, say orchestra or something like that?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes, because it'll ask you, do you want one pathway? Do you want to choose another? Do you want to choose three? And then it'll have things like beginning orchestra for those who've never touched an instrument, beginning band, in the elective section of the form. So yes, you don't have to feel compelled to choose three, but make sure you choose something you're interested in. Any other questions? Yes?
Is 3 the max?
3 is the max, yes. Only because its perfect schedule is an ELA course, a math course, science, social studies, and a world language course, which really only gives you room for a maximum of 3 pathways. So 1 to 3 pathways. Yes?
I think a minute ago you referred to world languages as a pathway, but there's a separate thing on the form to say you want to take a world language.
Absolutely.
So if you fill that in, you don't choose a world language pathway, you just fill that first.
That's right. Because that sort of happens organically. Yes, there's an option to choose French, Spanish, Latin, or sign language. Now again, if you're already in Spanish in middle school and you choose Spanish, I'll know when we pull your transcript that we need to put you in level 2. So don't worry about the fact that the level is not listed on the form. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
So since the kids are non-registered yet, so this is the form where they're gonna enter their personal information. Like name, email, as you're saying, is on this form.
Only for pathway selection, yes. It's not registration where you verify residency. And again, if the child isn't registered, go ahead and do this process anyway. I see a hand over here.
That's why he asked the school, so that we know you're planning to come here and you've completed the pathways, and we will then look for your registration in June when you complete it, and we'll piece it together.
Bring it on.
Yeah, sure. It says on the form, if you're put in an honors course, you can select the on-level one in the spring. Can you do the reverse? If you're in an on-level course, can you request honors in the spring, Thursdays?
If the GPA and the core, for example, if your child is at about an 82 now, it can't happen. But at the end of the year, the child makes a 97 and it pushes the child up to an 89. You could just say, there's a process over the summer to request schedule changes. Just fill out that form and we'll take care of it.
If they drop down or they kick out?
Yeah.
Is it during the spring semester?
Yes, if we catch it, generally we do, yes. Because we do run grade reports twice, this time of year and at the end of the year. Yes?
Is there an advantage to picking more than one pathway?
Just go with interest. Yeah, just go with interest. Don't do it just to build a perfect schedule because you'll always need something like general health or personal fitness that can fill in the slot as well. Okay, I saw a hand back here first somewhere. Okay, hand down here, yes.
Do other classes besides general PE meet the PE requirement? Like does personal fitness meet the PE requirement?
Different ones. So you got 1.5 PE requirements, a half unit of general health, a half unit of personal fitness, and then 1 additional PE class.
Oh, so it's 1.5 PEs.
That's it. That's it.
What are the other halves that qualify?
For the PE class,
Yeah.
some students can get that by doing 2 or more years of the same varsity sport. Marching band also gets it. Now, have I missed anything else?
We don't have a dance.
Dance. That's right. So that will cover the health and personal fitness part. It won't cover the general PE part. And all that's spelled out in the forms somewhere, so just look for that.
I was
Yeah.
looking at the ones.
Okay.
So he has to take PE and he has to take general health. So then he
And-
needs to do one other thing.
Yeah, personal fitness and general health are the requirements. So personal fitness, as much as it is a PE, it is a required PE. So I must have general health and personal fitness, unless I take 3 years of ROTC, that will replace it. And then 1 additional PE, like team sports, rec games, physical conditioning, weight training. So
Okay.
1.5.
So it's personal fitness and general health, not PE, general PE and general health.
That's correct. So general health and personal fitness are the required.
Got
And
it.
then any other PE under the sun will take care of the third one.
Thank you for clarifying.
Okay? Yes.
On the world language, is there any difference between just signing up for the regular one versus a pathway?
No, it just happens organically. If you do it the same world language 3 or more years, you automatically get the pathway.
Okay, and then the 1.5 of health and all that you were just talking about, is that in the first year, or is that?
Some do it in the first year. For example, if I get 3 full-fledged pathways, I won't have room for that in my schedule.
So it's just at some point over your 4 years?
That's correct. Yes. Yes.
Pathways get like communicated, or like what is it in the end when you're going to college or something to say I have a pathway?
Oh, that's a great question. Many people found that out a few years ago when Georgia Tech did not admit some of our students who had taken 12 AP classes. They assumed that AP classes were the way to get into big schools. We discovered at that time that schools wanted to see that you started something and you followed through. You sort of contributed to the community. So 3 years in the orchestra meant that you stayed with that and you contributed through music. 3 years in art, or 3. So pathways are like college majors. I'm interested in engineering, so I do it for 3 years. So it's the ability to say that I started something, contributed, and I followed through. So does that help? Question?
I just wanted to follow up. I couldn't hear what she said about the dance. So if you have a student that does extracurricular stuff outside of school but you don't offer dance, is there a way to get PE credit for that?
Not a way to do that, sorry. Yeah. Question, yes?
So pathway selection only happens in 9th grade, right?
That's a great question. Students have a chance, if I get into something that I really find going into 10th grade, they'll have an option to change again. Yes. And some of our students are like Gavin sitting right there. Gavin, you have like 4 pathways, don't you? Because you did something, yeah. It's like the only kid got 4 pathways. And yeah, see, I'm the scheduler, I know all this stuff. Yes.
If you're not doing foreign languages pathway, what are the required, or someone be coming in with a year of Latin, is there a requirement for a number of, courses of foreign language?
2 years of the same world language will meet the graduation requirement.
Did that also, if he goes into Latin 2, does he have to do Latin 3 after
No.
that? Okay, so
You do not.
1 year would be, okay.
Yes.
But
It's preferred. Some colleges really like at least, see that training to say that. Some colleges, so be sure to look at the college and the major before you make that decision. So 2 will get the graduation requirement. Some colleges like to see 3 and beyond. Proud of me, Palekia?
yes, more competitive. You need to keep going.
Yes, ma'am.
If they're auditioning for like one of the higher level choral, do we indicate on that, or?
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that. Yes. I don't automatically put them in chorus in high school because they're in it in middle school. If you don't check chorus or orchestra as your pathway, I don't know you want to get in it. Because high school, again, is not about our doing to you. It's when you make the decisions to do. So that is a great question. Mr. Hill, well, thank you for that. Anything else? Yes?
So kind of back to my other question. On the transcript, then, does it like say pathway earned, or is it just that the colleges are looking at the classes that you took and seeing that they are related?
That's it. And again, a lot of students who do the dual enrollment and the ACCA and all of that, they forego the pathways because again, they're not required. For those who are in school 4 years, they're preferred, and it also makes it a little more meaningful than just choosing random electives. But again, a lot of our students, after the first year, they move on to dual enroll, AP classes and something that just sort of takes them off the pathway, and that's fine. Because again, I can still get a pathway in terms of what the state requires by taking 3 AP courses in the same subject area, for example. Yes, ma'am?
How many kids can get into each pathway? So are different pathways have maximum caps?
Well, not really. It's based on the number of teachers. For example, if you're looking at marketing, we have 3 teachers, so considerable amount more can get into that. We have 2 pathways for engineering, 1 traditional, 1 drafting, design. So it just depends on the number of teachers. And again, usually it just sort of works out. Did I just jinx myself? I'll be screaming in 3 weeks. It sort of works out. Anything else? I see a hand. I see. Over here somewhere. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, yeah, if your child gets really into their pathways and they don't necessarily want, or I'm keen to do the PE, are you still offering the online PE? I know you did it.
No, I'm just joking. Sure. Yes, online PE is an option. Some of you may even want to talk to your counselor now about things like health. You want to display?
Yeah, AVA, Atlanta Virtual Academy, still offers any class that you want to take, the personal fitness, the health, and the general PE class are all offered through AVA. And that is something that you definitely can talk with your 8th grade counselor, not me, but your 8th grade counselor about if that's something you want your student to do over the summer, knock out.
Yes, if you want to do the personal fitness, the health, anything over the summer, just make sure they're signing you up for the high school version of the course, not the middle school.
So, here, we're picking pathways and essentially you're assigning the courses, right?
Yes.
Is that how it works for future semesters and years also? Or-
Yes. They get some voice, for example, everything is based on grades here. It's not teacher recommendations, not arbitrary. One thing you could sort of do to give yourself a peek, I think you just logged out, Tina Palekia. I want you to go to the school's website and look at the AP corner as if you don't have enough to do. Don't do that tonight or tomorrow, just in the future. That will give you an idea. Is this under parents and students, AP corner? Oh, there it is. You see it, AP corner. Go back to that so they can see it. Can you do that again? You can't? I know, I'm tired too. Yeah, right there, AP corner. That's it. That will give you an overview.
Okay, so it's there and then you go here.
Okay, yeah. If you just kind of scroll down to right here, AP descriptions and minimum criteria. That's an example of what that looks like, where we're going to spell out what a student would need for a grade point average in which particular subjects, and even, okay, so open up AP Lit, just open up one, 12th grade. Or just anyone. Well, not that one, open up, because that was a little loose. Seminar, for example. I'll tell you in all of this, 9th grade ELN social studies, and we'll say here, we'll spell out who has at least an 80, we'll give all the criteria. So that's a way for you to start thinking, you've got to keep your grades up, because I have some students in the 11th grade who have averages in the 70s who are asking for 4 AP classes. No, you have to think about it. What happens in 9th grade impacts all the years in school, so definitely keep those grades up. For honors class, it's going to be 85 or higher to get in. There's something different that happens going into 10th grade science. I'll spell that out in 9th grade for you. So just think at least 85 for honors, 85 for AP, even though it may vary. So just kind of familiarize yourself with that. That may help you. Another question? I'm going to shut up now. It's time for me to sit down. Yes?
I was just curious, I thought you had indicated that somewhere on the form, there was somewhere to indicate, like, if your kid was auditioning for honors chorus or,
Just choose chorus, and then I'll send it to Mr. Hill. Mr. Hill and the orchestra teacher, Ms. Davis, have already sent me a lot of information about your children. Isn't that nice? I know all your business. So they've already worked with the middle school teachers. The band instructor here has as well. But again, just because they've sent me the information, I'm not going to put the child in the class if we don't ask for it on the phone, on the form. Deal?
sorry, I misunderstood.
Okay, no problem. Anything else? Okay, bring it on.
If I wanted to do a pathway and I thought, okay, I'm not gonna choose the pathway, I'm just going to pick the courses that are in the pathway each year. Will that work, or will the students who chose that pathway get a preference?
No, it works, same thing. Yeah, you're not locking yourself into it. Some children just choose it the same way they would an elective. Because if I don't finish the pathway, it still counts as an elective credit. So it's still useful. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I noticed that you mentioned students could take 2 double math, right? Can they also take double English?
They cannot.
There aren't any, I know,
What?
I see AP seminars not available. This is 9th grade English is a prerequisite.
And a way around that is to do AVA. You could do that. We just don't have enough staff and space to accommodate doubling up every subject. But a lot of students who do it opt to do it online. So, okay, that's a warning. I hear somebody like, sit down, Mr. Vincent. Anything else pressing? I can take a hint.
Hey, Mr. Vincent, to her question, please be cautious though, you don't wanna do that just err on the side of caution if it's a course that has an EOC tied to it. You know, I think doubling up on courses that have an EOC, an end of course test, I think, and the state has implemented like 10th grade lit is getting a new name, and there will be an end of course test tied to 10th grade lit. So I just would caution you about doing things virtually, knowing that it's tied to an EOC.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a new thing, so. All right. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to clarify that question that was just asked about not signing up for the pathway, but still taking the pathway courses as electives. So if you wanted to take cybersecurity elective, but you did not choose cybersecurity pathway, is that an option? Because I don't remember ever seeing that as an elective. And I know it's not, that's a new one, so I'll pick something else.
No.
An option.
No.
For my oldest son, so I just want to make sure that we understood that.
I got you. Oh, now I see what you're asking. In the old days, when I inherited scheduling, things were listed in 2 places, and it almost drove me to drinking. So I said to keep this whole process sane, because a child would ask for cybersecurity over here, then they'd come back at an elective and ask for cybersecurity. I wound up counting it twice, and the schedule was a mess. I only put it in one place now. So even if you don't intend to follow it through and you just want to explore it, you have to sign up for it as a pathway, but you're not committing to it for 3 years. Does that make sense? You're just not, but it just keeps all of us sane. Yes.
So I understand that pathways is selected, right? You choose none or up to 3. For the electives on the form, it seems like you need to put down 6 as in the priority order. Is that accurate?
That's correct. Choose 6, yes. And I love the people more than anything who just choose the same 6. Oh, that's beautiful.
Don't shoot the messenger. My husband has asked me to ask this, so it will be on your detailed form. If you're choosing the AP pathway, he tells me that there isn't on the sample form a selection for that. You just choose the doc that says I'm choosing one or more pathway when you sign up for AP Human Geography. Is that correct?
Yes, there's nothing on this form that says I only want advanced courses. The only thing you get to say is I do want a pathway or I don't want a pathway. Yeah, because the world language and the AP will just sort of happen on their own. You don't have to tell me at this point in the game that's what you're going to do. Yes?
Are you or someone else going to talk about how GPA works in terms of the open cell scholarships?
No, I'm just joking. Ms. Palekia is more adept with that, so maybe that's a question for her. But I will end by saying this. Just watch your emails, because at some point, I will just pop out something in the next few weeks that will say, here's what you told me you wanted. Now, why do I send that out in a few weeks? It gives you a chance to do what? Just say, well, Mr. Vincent, I changed my mind. So just go ahead. Don't have any reservations. I like to get it right on the front end. Here's what you told me. If you see anything is changing, let me know. So email is going to be the way to go. Now, again, those of you who do not register your kids, when I send those schedules out in May, your child won't get one. You have to be registered. The whole lease, verification, power bill, whatever it is you do, you must do it or your child will not get a schedule. Let me tell you how that plays out. Everyone else around, Howard will be running around. Yeah, Mr. Vincent emailed me a schedule last time. And your child, and they're not going to talk to you in the car all the way home. So just understand, it's going to be a mean, quiet ride. Yes, ma'am? As fast as we can sort of thump it out to you, that takes a little, you may even have to ask. Have no reservations about emailing me. I tell people I'm a church organist. I respond to emails during bad sermons. I just do. So and I have a lot of bad sermons. So have no problems. I will respond to your emails. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So when you choose the pathways, if you choose 3, but you don't actually have room in your schedule for 3, is it like you would get your first 2, like say if you're doing double math and then a language and then
That's a good question. One thing I want you to learn tonight, I'm so glad, first time anyone ever asked that. How do we schedule at Midtown? We schedule from the top to the bottom. So just kind of get that in your brain. Everything I send in an email, I'm going to start at the top. Generally, it's going to be ELA, math, science, social studies, world language, followed by the time they get to 9th, 10th grade, AP courses, followed by pathways, followed by electives. So if your child is chosen enough for a full schedule and it stops after the pathways, the electives, the general health, the PE won't come into play because you told me I want all three of these pathways. So Mr. Vincent is putting all three pathways in. So everything here happens top to bottom. If you request too many courses when you hit 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade, I start deleting from the bottom up because I can't take away your ELA class. So get that in your mind. Everything I send you, top to bottom. And I think I'll even count the credits for you. I've never done that for the Rising Night. I'm going to count the credits for you and say your schedule has the capacity for 8 credits. I'm going to start that process. So look out for that in like 3 weeks. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
On the form, if it asks for the child's email address, but they don't necessarily have one yet, would you recommend just leaving that blank?
No, just put yours in twice.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. And again, have no problem. You know, sometimes you'll pick classes for your children. I shouldn't say that out loud. How do I say it? You'll work with your children and encourage them strongly to choose classes. And they'll figure out, but I can send Mr. Vincent an email and just ask him to change X. Okay, just always know, if I think your child is really up to something, I'm gonna blind copy you on it. But yeah, I'm going to inform all parties of what's going on with changes, that kind of thing. So don't feel like a lot can happen around here without your knowledge. I'm gonna always just blast you with copies. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
So I have a student that's returning to the cluster, so we would do the June registration, but we're gonna fill this out. You're gonna have our email, so we'll still get an email in a few weeks.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes. All right, thank you so much. You have been absolutely awesome.
So thank you so much. A couple of things, just a reminder, we will be notifying your middle schools and you about that makeup date for the visit. Again, it's either gonna be the 5th or the 6th. We'll just make that decision once we hear from that other school, hopefully tomorrow. And then,
Can't hear you.
oh, really?
No.
Okay. Okay, so the 5th or the 6th will be the makeup day for the visit. We will let you know as soon as that is determined, hopefully by tomorrow. And we'll put it out, and your middle schools will put that out. And then as far as registration goes, you've got the dates. Just know from your middle school perspective, that information is going to be, again, coming out to you through them and guiding you through that process. But again, our registrar, Ms. Case, is here if you have any particular questions. She'll be right outside the auditorium. We also have our clubs and activities. Some of our clubs and activities have set up outside the auditorium and in the cafeteria multi-purpose room, and we definitely encourage you to go over there and check some of those out, see what they're doing. They're doing some amazing things. The kids are in there. We also have the coffee house. I don't know if it's ended, but that was going on too, a theater arts performance, so that you can pop into. But we are really glad that you came tonight. Hopefully you got your information you needed, but don't hesitate to email Mr. Vincent or myself. And again, thank you for coming. Have a great night.
Registrar again? Miss Case, and she's right here, the boy.
Oh, I'm sorry to bother you again.
No, you're fine.
We asked you this last time, and I can't remember the answer.
Okay.